What's good, everyone? It's your boy Sifu G, the Esoteric Warrior. Hope everyone's doing good today. And welcome to the newest podcast on the Tao of Kung Fu from Foster Ton Curry. And we're back with Sifu Johnny Lee, the Fix Our Tonglong Mantis Master in Sydney. And talking about his internal training and about the forms he's into at the moment and what he'd like to talk about. So welcome, Sifu Johnny Lee.
Thank you for inviting me again, Sifu Gary.
You're on high demand, brother.
Hey, I'm only an old dude, you know.
That's good
Not
to
that
see
bloody
you.
attractive, am I?
It's good to see you again, man. I really miss our chats.
Hey, listen, before you go, I actually got a new keyboard for my studio, so I'm actually bringing out a new album soon anyway.
Straight from the basement.
Everybody was Kung Fu Fighting Part 2, 2.0.
All right, so we're as we spoke about, you wanted to talk a little bit about your background in internal arts and also some external forms. So I'll leave you with it and you can talk all about it.
Okay, probably around 2004 or 5, I had an accident with my eye, so I had a retinal detachment, and I only lost my left eye, but anyway, and that was just basically not getting hit. It just basically happened naturally because I've got bad eyesight. You probably know Bruce Lee's got bad eyesight, so a lot of Chinese people got bad eyesight. That's why they all wear glasses, right?
Oh,
and they can't. Yeah. So basically, when I had the surgery and all of that, I still got the floaters and all that floating in my eye. So I went to Hong Kong and I see one of my friends had, had a street Sifu teaching him about the Qigong and cutting the Qi out and all this stuff like that. So I was a bit hesitant to go to Hong Kong to learn all of this stuff to heal my eyes. So, but at the same time, during that time, there was a group called, in Chinese, it's called the Zhonggong, which is a health preservation Qigong. And it's from mainland China. They came to Australia, in Sydney, in Nashville. They had a big seminar and a workshop, and it was only Mandarin and English. So my Mandarin wasn't very good at those times, so I joined the English group. And there was a lot of the white Aussies that joined our group to learn this Qigong stuff. And it was very, very comprehensive. And it's called Zhonghua Yung Sang Yi Qigong. It's Chinese health self-preservation Qigong. So it was very interesting. I went in there to learn about aura, to see the beam come out from your fingers, the aura around the person. And if the aura changes different colors in your organs and there's something wrong with it, it teaches you how to cut the bad chi out and throw it in the ground to earth it. And also moving the chi with the small heavenly circles and things like that. So that was the basis of that Qigong. So I learned that for probably about 3-4 months in that environment. And I felt, I felt really good about it, and laying a patient on the, or a person got a problem on the bed, and we cut the chi out and threw it on the ground.
So is it like a medical qigong as well?
It's a medical qigong. Basically, there's no martial art involved. I was the only martial artist in that group, right? So there's ladies that do the meditation. They go through all the chakras. And go through the Bakui, and so basically, it's very similar to Indian type of chi and
prana,
the Kundalini and things like that, right? Very similar, but it was a Chinese. So basically, it was a big following because they hired a huge apartment building in Nashville. In those days, it's like, it's a lot of money. So they must have a lot of people there. So I went to a class there and I joined them. So after that, so I had a taste of that. And then after that, I had the accident. And then I went to Hong Kong. then went to Tai Chi. Well, it actually is corner of Gai Han Gai, Bangju Road, and Nathan Road, Leighton Road. Right? A corner of that is a few blocks away. I went in there, and my friend booked me into this Qigong class, and it was like I call Ru Yi Qigong from China. In Cantonese, Yu Yi Qi Hei Gong, Yu Hei, Yu Yi Hei Gong.
That's actually taken a hold lately, the Ru Yi Qigong.
Yeah. So anyway, this the masters from northeast of China, and he came down to Hong Kong to, taught us in probably 2007 or something like that. And so basically, I was in 2 weeks intense class. I met a lot of people, and it was pretty much the same like what I learned in Australia, in Sydney, in Nashville, where they was cutting the chair, moving people around, and everyone was moving But when I was in the room there, he's trying to heal my eyes and all that, and I found that it didn't really work that well with me. Maybe I'm not receptive to all this chi and all that. So after a while, there was a lot of people that's been healed, right? So I was very happy to see them because they couldn't walk up the stairs. Because you would think, right? You have a qigong class and a healing class. They will have the bloody ground floor, so people can access through the ground floor without climbing up the 4 or 5 stairs to the 4th floor to get qigong, healing, all right? But that was the case. So it was a test for a lot of people that went in there trying to get healed. They had to walk up these 4 flights of stairs to get in the room, and they could take all their shoes off and all of that. So it was like, it was really, difficult for some people, but it was all right for me. I just walked up,
Do you find that similar, or any similarities to the Tonglong Qigong?
No, totally different. What it does is that it's Ru Yi Qigong or Yu Hei Gong. Yu Yi Hei Gong is to feel the qi. You gather the qi. Well, I'll just show you. You gather the qi and you go like this to gather the qi into your dantian. Once your dantian is got enough qi, it flows through the small heavenly circle and you move that around. So basically, you need to cultivate the qi, bank it, and then move it. Okay, so you can't just go in there and say, "I'll move the qi," because it doesn't work like that. Is it similar? Yes, it's similar, very similar. So a lot of these qigong things that I practice or I learned is pretty much the same thing. You have to, number one, put your time in it to gather the qi. Number two, to meditate, to have a very calm mind, not think about anything. And then when the qi is around, you move it around. As simple as that.
Yeah, well, you got to fill up the dantian, as they say, before anything. So cultivation of the qi, the air, is crucial for any practice, right?
Exactly. Your dantian, your lower dantian, so it's a ha dantian. Lower dantian, zhong dantian, sheng dantian. So ha dantian is like your bank, it's like your ATM.
Every breath counts.
Exactly. And you got to work hard to cultivate qi. You have to be patient. So if you go and say join a qigong workshop for 2 weeks or 1 week or 2 days, 3 days, and you expect to be full of qi, that doesn't happen. You have to cultivate it yourself. Once you cultivate enough, it just flow through your hands. Okay, so that's my encounter with a couple of really famous masters in China, and I didn't even know about their name. And then later on, I found out how famous they were.
Because, like I said, that Ru Yi Qigong is now, people are practicing it a lot more that I've seen. A couple of Kung Fu people, Mickey, Sifu Mickey, he's doing something similar, right?
Yeah, it's in Namyang, which is
Is that from
again,
Malaysia? Is that from Taiwan or Malaysia?
not from China, but the master then essentially went to China, or he met someone in China that actually made him a disciple, and recently had a workshop there, but I couldn't join it because I had other really important work. You know, you know that I'm in the building game. There's a lot of projects happening, so I didn't have the time. But I would have loved to join them because that was to revising what I was learning in China, in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Do they work on elements like using the trees or anything like that for grounding? And
yeah, they have all of this there, and I actually have actually when I left Hong Kong, they were saying to me, "Oh, well, where are you actually from?" I said, "From Sydney, Australia," and they said, "Well, are you coming back for more the courses?" And I said, "Well, I might be, but I just wonder if there any CD or any DVD that I can buy from you." And they were very hesitant to give me anything. And then my friend knew them very well and said to the master, "Can you release the CD to Johnny?" So basically, I got about, I think in that book, in that thing, it's about 40, 50 VCD, which is not DVD. If people young here listening to this podcast, there was CD, VCD, and then DVD, and then Blu-ray. So that's it's old school. So I saw VCD, but you can play it on a DVD player, and then it had all the stuff that I didn't learn. There's levels and level stuff that I was in that folder, and I believe that I gave that to you.
you did, my brother. I've still got them, and they're in my drawer. I remember some of them where they squat down really low and get the around the feet and come up the back, stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of things. Look, they can actually move objects around the room as well, which is freaking me out. A lot of things that they were doing that was freaking me out. But I didn't want to go there because all I was interested in was just healing my eyes, the floaters and all that, and I was just trying different things. And I know that the Western medicine cannot help me with that, except surgery, and even that's a risk involved. But my left eye, I didn't get hit by anything. It just detached the retina, and they put it back together. And I had the greatest surgical team in Sydney Eye Hospital, which is they're phenomenal. This the whole surgical team. But after that, they told me that I had to live with the floaters the rest of my life, which I did, and. Would the Ru Qigong help me? Yeah, it helped me with a lot of aspects. Did it get rid of floaters? No, it hasn't. All right. So I got to be very, very honest about that. But it did help me with a lot of things about understanding my martial art, another Qigong sets, I've been doing. So, yeah, there's a lot, look, like I said, Sifu Gary, there's a lot of things that you can, there's a lot of information out there. And that's all the information that I got, all right? But you need time to digest it, practice it, and then and understand it, and then perform it.
Do they need so many levels though in the Ru Yi Qigong?
There were 7 levels.
7 levels.
There were 7 levels, yeah. That's what I was exposed to. They could see aura around you. They can. When they say Gimji, when you do your Gimji in forms, right? The Gimji to Dim Mak, right?
Yeah.
It's not just in Gimji. If you can see the aura coming out from your fingers.
Yeah.
So when they switch off the light, they can see my Gimji and the aura. I can see myself. So when I see people, when I was in tune with it, I could see the aura of the person around me. They would switch the lights off in the room and say, "Look, that guy's sick." Like, this old guy came in and sick, and we're trying to, you take the kidney, the spleen, the heart, the liver, and all of that, and we can see the different color of the aura around those organs.
Oh, that's amazing.
right?
That's amazing.
I know. I was freaking out when I saw the different colors. It was
Because
yellow, pale yellow.
remember we worked on young Leo and we checked the aura first, and he hardly had
Well, Leo was amazing. What we done with Reiki with my brother and you, three of us in the room there, and I taught him the Rui Qigong from Hong Kong. To it was a young guy, and he had cancer. Like, he was only 17, 18, and it's so sad. But I remember when I first met him, his father was a chef in Caringbah Chinese restaurant. I was working there part-time, and they found out I was a Kung Fu guy. And they were asking me all this stuff, and I told them about the Qigong I learned, and maybe I can help your son. And so that's when we went to his place. And with your Reiki and Michael's Qi and my Qis, we were able to neutralize a lot of stuff. And then I taught him the Qigong, and it worked. So after that, I went to Hong Kong to work for a few weeks, and then he rang me up. He said, "Sifu John," I said, well, "You better keep me your promise, because all my cancer is gone." And I was freaking out. I remember I was in Sek Tong Joy, in Hong Kong, in the island there, and I was having Siu like porridge and all of that. And then I got this phone call from Leo saying, he's in the hospital, and they checking out there was no more cancer cells.
Because I remember the first night we did it on him, and we were doing the energy on him, and then I was driving home. You rang me up, and the parents were freaking out because he had a fever, and he had to go to hospital. And they said, "What did you do to him?" I said, "No, that's a good response. It means his immune system kicked in, right?"
Yeah.
And then we kept doing some more work over the next few months. You taught him Qigong. I taught him this rock Qigong to put the Qi into the rock and get the sunlight. And then he ended up going back to school, didn't he?
Oh, he went back to school and all of that. And I think at that time, I wasn't very educated on nutrition and things like that. He wasn't eating. His family was just feeding him just carbohydrates.
They'll feeding him those noodles in the cup, those shit noodles.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing you can give to a person just recover from cancer. You need nutrients. You need antioxidants, super antioxidants. You need a lot of the omega-3, omega-3.
I remember after that you joined USANA.
Yeah, well, I was very ignorant about nutrition and all that, and so my wife said to me that you should come and learn from Dr. Marlon Wen's disciples on USANA's products, and then I found out about the antioxidants, super antioxidant, the coenzyme Q10 for your heart, the grapeseed extract that neutralizes the free radical in your body, and also your nutrients, the basic nutrient that you need to function. Whether you eat properly or not eat properly, you still need that optimal level of supplement to able to give you a good chance to keep the cancer at bay. In remission, if I can put it that way. Yeah. But I didn't know that. I was a bit ignorant about all of that, and all I need was Qigong. Have I known that? I think I have to. I think Leo would be like 40-something years old, and I will have to teach him Kung Fu for 20-something years for free of charge, because that's my promise to him. If you heal, I'm going to teach you everything free of charge.
Yeah, but it's also the parents' responsibility to feed him correctly. It's not yours.
I know, and I felt very bad about it. And Ken was his father, and Ken said to me, "John, you try your best." And they were devastated when he passed away.
He only had 2 weeks to live when we met him.
Oh yeah, definitely 2 weeks. And the chemo turned his the color of his face and his body almost like black. like really dark color,
Yeah.
really pale green, no blood circulation.
But
And so,
it was a pleasure to work on him with you as well. We did our best, and we gave him some quality of life, for a good year. I think he played sports again at school.
yeah, he did. He played sport at school. So when I was in Hong Kong, he told me about that. And when I came back, after working in Hong Kong, I came back to Australia, and I found out that like a week later that he passed away, and I was a bit devastated, to be honest. I was a bit sad.
Yeah,
But I think that he was a really good kid. I would have passed on my knowledge to him, because I just thought he was so good, learning things, and he was very diligent learning the qigong and all that. And it did help. It did help a lot. I mean, you can, like that was a miracle thing. I mean, remained me from the hospital that all the cancer, they had a scan and cancer was all gone.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
And hopefully it was healed. Like I was like, yeah. But I think the backup of nutrition and it would have helped him. I just think you need all of these things to help you, to get through a lot of your.
All right, enough sadness. We'll move on. But you also learned 108 Tai Chi off Master Rick Lum.
That is another story. I'll tell you what happened is that my student Michael Darcy, obviously, is a very competitive MMA guy. This is before MMA even existed, right? This guy was into jiu-jitsu, BJJ, judo, karate. He had all this belt under him. So we met at Qingwu in Sydney, and basically my brother and I, we hang out, and we met a person in Qingwu called Sifu Rick Lum, and Sifu Lum was from Malaysia. He's Chinese, Cantonese. And he and I got kicked on so well that we just talked about all this other thing besides kung fu. And one day we went to Randwick in a school and outside the yard there, and he was showing us our Tai Chi. And Michael Darcy and my brother Michael, we were skeptical about Chi, and he said, look, he's going to show us the Chi. I said, what Chi? To me, Chi is some sort of imagination thing. And then, so he said that he called us to, sit on Tai Chi pose, and then basically the gua, and then he said, push your arm forward. So three of us push our arm forward. It floated up in the air without any effort from us muscly, right? So I freaked out, and I took my brother, my hands floating up in the air, Chi. And then Michael Darcy just looked at me and said, you can't believe it. So Tim, Michael, and me was a believer, and then after that, my brother and I spent about 3 years learning the 108 Tai Chi, the Yang style. And the Yang style, it doesn't come up just like that. You got to open up the gua with your hand and then move upwards. So what you do is that you feel the flow of the Qi. So that answered my question of why they do it so bloody slowly in the park, because they're not just doing it slowly, because they feel the Qi floating their arms and their body and the parts. And
they want to experience the whole every part of the movement. So would that lead to the song in the Tai Chi and internal art?
Yeah, it's very song, like someone like me that is very
short power.
Body's stiff, don't move so much to your voice, tense your thing, and and then someone like me to go like this, it was very, very hard. But because I felt the Qi, I let the Qi lead me the way I was doing my Tai Chi. Even the repulsed monkey, even the palm and all this stuff like that. It was just basically the Qi moved me around. And when I got really good at it, and they would put me in front of the class. Okay, so in the park there, I would be like 20 minutes in front of the last person, right? So they would ask me to, to do the, through the form and do the section of the form, and I could feel the chi when I was moving, but really strange. One person right at the back there, a lady came up and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "John, I can feel your chi." So basically, that we were all in a sphere of chi when we're doing it. It's like a group effort. You feel the chi, but the chi was very cold. I wouldn't say cold. I would say very. Rick told me. See, Rick told me it was like a cool breeze. So you could feel the cool breeze. Okay, there's nothing like how I learned your qigong, your 身推者, and it's warm and heat. Yeah. It's just cool breeze. So I would think that the people that were following Rick, they were feeling this thing, and we used to do this next to a huge tree. Because the tree gives a lot of chi, and the ground chi, and you collect from that, and you cull it from the ground, the chi. Yeah. So yeah.
So
it's good.
Is it because there's different types of Tai Chi, right? Like even in the Yang style, is it similar to all the other Yang style forms or is it different?
It's different because the old one away form, when he told me some of the stuff that he was doing was taught to him from his master in Malaysia, in KL. So basically, the hand movement is a little different, but he would open the tiger's mouth to open the chi. So normally we float like this with chi and come down. He would open first and then would lift his arms horizontally. And that's how I learned it. And then when I felt that, it's like the chi ball moving upward, and then I close and let the chi go down. So most people do Tai Chi. There's a breath circulation. They would say they run in small, heavily circles, but with him, it wasn't about all of that. It was just about feeling your whole person in that sphere of chi. Now,
being present in the moment.
Yeah, and interestingly, when you went to when I was in China and for a few weeks, and went to from Zhongshan, from Hong Kong to Macau to Zhongshan, and I went to Sifuheng. Imagine it's Shaoqing, Sifuheng. It's not the Sifuheng in northern China. It's Sifuheng in West Guangdong province. Okay, so I went to Dingwu, which is up on this hill. There's a lake, and it's called Dingwu. Okay, so Dingwu is basically we walk up this we hike up on this track. We see a little temple, and I got to the top there, and I felt like, wow, this is like the oldest temple, So I thought, oh, I'll just go and take some photos of me doing some Tai Chi. As soon as I put my arm up, out, it floated up in the air effortlessly. And I just said to my wife, Christ, I can feel all this chi around me, and I'm floating. Like I'm having a dance with the chi, with my Tai Chi. And they just looked at me and freaked out a little bit because, they see me so bloody happy,
Maybe because that's why all the towers are in the mountains,
yeah, and then I really wanted to have a straight sword so I could play the sword, right? But I didn't have it, so I took a little stick, and a little branch, and I was doing all this stuff, and it feels like that you're floating up in the air. And so whatever techniques you use in the Tai Chi, repulse monkey, a lot of these techniques, it will probably just float really well. So the Taoist monk in China in the old days, or even now, they must have felt the chi, the energy from the ground. interesting stuff. That's my experience, and actually,
Because I remember you introduced me to Sifu Rick, and we had we went to a cafe afterwards for a coffee and all that with some of the students, and because I was watching him do it, and I questioned him about his finger positions when he does certain things. I said, "Are you using you're using 5-element theory with your fingers?" And he goes, "Oh, you know." So
yeah,
certain hand fingers he would use on the way up and down.
yeah. You know, there's a certain there's certain things that floats out and then bang. You know, so there's certain fingers, and you feel the chi. It's just like when I do my Tong Long. You know, I can feel the chi when I'm doing it. You know, I don't know other people that does Tong Long. Do they actually feel the chi? I actually feel the chi when I'm doing game style and all that stuff like that. So,
Well, speaking of the mantis qigong, I know that there's the Hap Jian Gong, the Sapat Xiao. What about is it the the blood sand palm, Hutsa Jian?
well, I actually don't know much about blood and palm, but I do know how the set goes. And but I think it's the moving the chi to different quadrant of your body, and your hand gets very hot, and it's very similar to your burning palm. It's very similar to burning palm. Blood sand palm is the blood actually come out from your palm. It's like Tisaja, it's actually internally moving the blood upward, moving the chi upward, and hit. And you hit somebody from the front, there's a print in the back there. Is that how your burning palm works?
Burning palm's the same. You can transfer it to the back.
Because of blood and flow energy. Yeah.
A beginner's one would be leaving the palm print on the front. Advanced is to do it belly to back up to 7 people, and you can leave one on any of them, according to the Grandmaster. Right? I left one on Hayden's back. I hit him on the front and left one on his back, and he got a little bit sick from that. I didn't hit him hard, right?
Well, so it's interesting how it's all connected, very similar things that, but the form the Qigong I always go back to is Getting So. I like the Getting So. I like the fingers moving forward, and I can see the aura coming out of the fingers, when you switch off the light, when you do it nighttime, you can feel it, and then you pull and you come back. It's like the elastic band, we call it that, and you do that, you feel that sphere, and you move in, you close your ribs, and then you shoot out. So the Getting So's got a lot of elements in it, and then at the end, that you use your ganging and shoot out those arrows with the fingertip. So a lot of things to work on. The Getting So it's not a simple set. It's simple to learn, but hard to get all the elements and things like that. And
it's called Sapat Getting So, right?
Yeah, it's 18 movement, but
not 18.
Some people just call Getting So. Some people just call Getting So. I mean, it's like Fat Sao is not really Fat Sao. It's fixed Sao.
Oh, really?
Fat Sao is name.
Tell us about that. Tell us about Fixal and Sao.
Look, I mean, I remember going to Lee Gotland's and when I was very young, and going there to see him. Well, I wasn't very young; I was 30-something, and when he said to me, "Show me the Fat Sao form." So I showed the Fat Sao form to him, and he said it's the same like Dan Zhong. It just had a bit more feelers in it. But the actual movement has to be flicking, because it's not Fat Sao, it's actually fixed Sao. It's actually flick the movement like that. So basically, there's a curved line within the straight line. It looks like straight, but it's actually curved to get that flick, that flicking motion. The Chinese call.
And the Fixal belongs to that horse twist. The
Yeah, just the
Tao,
wrist. Like you know how you do your 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 inch palm and breaking things, right? It's basically that. So the element, the main element of the facade is the flicking power. If you do like this, you're not doing fixal. You're actually doing just mechanical movement. Okay, you got to make the fixal work. Okay, so fixal is to bounce the person's bridge away and you hit them within that split second.
so
You can
so
do that.
so the whole sequence has to be from the flick. It continues.
Yes, and the flicking is basically short power. The short power in your wrist. You know, and if you're going to go 1, 2, 3 to ribs, it's too slow. You've got to do one movement and one floating movement. The whole thing just got to move. If you go to 1, 2, 3, it's too slow. It doesn't work like that logically. If you're fighting the thing, you're not going 1, 2, 3. You're going to go 4. But it's all happening. It's all connected. One go. It's in the chain. The chain's got to work that way. Okay, it's got to be all connected. So,
some people are doing it obviously different. Is that a more a beginner's way of counting it and one step at a time? Is there a wrong way? Obviously,
there's no wrong way or right way of doing it. But the way that I was taught from in this school from the old master, it was just one way of doing it. Okay, if people break things down for other people to understand it, I can accept that, But how long do you stay at that level? How many years do you stay at that level trying to do that? 1, 2, 3. You certainly don't want to do that because kung fu is flow. It's one movement. It's like water. It should be just stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. So to me, the form is basically it's a template for you to get there. But at the end, you take all those template out and you become your kung fu. You float in one go. You don't break, and close one rib, close another rib, close second rib, and then go this way. It doesn't work like that in kung fu.
would that only be just training the Dip Wak Gung?
It is. I mean, look, people said to me, the Wak Gung, you got to be very careful with the Wak Gung when I first learned and say, you can hurt yourself, trying too hard. And then I got other masters that taught me and said, mate, the Wak Gung just do button go, It's not going 1, 2, 3, just one. And exactly. It's like a cat. And when a cat, crouch out and go and catch the mouse, it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, and then go and catch a mouse. It just goes. So basically, you're linked up already. So 1, 2, 3, maybe just training the power or the mechanic of it, but you got to link it all up one go. It's got to be a smooth run. It's like you're driving a car. You go first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, right? So if you got a very advanced EV, you press the button, you accelerate, it goes. It doesn't go 1, 2, 3 and change gear.
Who has a manual? Who has a manual these days, anyway?
Well, I love the manual.
All right, welcome back. We just had a little break. The Tao of Kung Fu podcast with Sifu John Lee. Just to rehash on what we're talking about, what do you think is the most valuable Hei Gung or Qi Gung of your mantis?
Well, I can't say what is the most valuable, but I think with all Qigong sets that we have in the mantis system and even in Zhoklam, it helps you to understand your body and the energy flows in your body. But with any Qigong, you need to spend a reasonable amount of time of learning it and training it and discovering it, It's really about yourself, Qi things like people said to me, can you feel moving the small heavenly circles around your body? Well, I can tell you a story about all of that. I don't feel it. When I went to Hong Kong, I don't feel this dot that's supposed to go through all this pond and small heavenly circle and big heavenly circle. And I asked people around me while I was doing it, they said, well, one lady was in the martial artist. She felt everything. So how do you make that connection, like whether you can actually feel it or not? But
well,
to
it's
me,
funny you say that, because when I was doing one yun with Sifu Connie, I asked him about the small heavenly circuit, and he said, Gary, it's always running. Like, he goes, if it wasn't running, you'd be dead, right? So that central channel feeds all the organs and all the energy in the extremities, your arms and legs and so forth. But I asked him, well, he goes, what people are doing, like Mantak Chia, they're visualizing a light or a ball of chi moving around. So it's mental. It's not a real thing to Sifu Connie. It was just the chi's always running. Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive.
I want to add to that is my father he does the Lin Dan, he like the chi ball, he moves around his body. He does that, and when I was young, he told me that he can actually feel the moving around different part of his body, but not so much on the small heavenly circuit. But basically, he can feel the chi, and he explained to me when I was a kid that was like a chi ball that goes around, like and that's how they can say that actually runs in that circuit. They do that, but like I said, Sifu Connie is right. It has to be running, otherwise you're bloody dead, right?
Also, if you visualize this energy moving and you're not real good at it, you can actually get blockages. That's what he said. And then you get sick and it's stuck, and you need massage, Jamgol, and all sorts of things to release the chi, because people are running this up the spine and what they believe is. But it's funny you talk about your dad moving the chi, because even when I do most of my qigong, whatever the art, if it's Santoi Jern or whatever, especially when I push, I feel as a warmth. Feels like water moving,
Yeah.
right? And you could say it feels like a ball, because it's not just one line continues connected. It's moving.
Yeah, that's what he told me when I was a kid. When I
Yeah.
was probably about 11 or something like that, he told me that the chi moves around his body when it's doing the qigong, the lin dan, right? We call it dan, which is like a ball, right, in Chinese. Okay, so yeah, when you're young, you just think that he's just having you on, he's pulling your legs, mate, like. But when you got older, like he said to me that when you do your qigong, you should feel that, moving around. So, but when I went to those classes, I don't actually feel going around, the heavenly circle or heavenly circuit. I don't feel any. But I got to say something. When I was doing the Santoi Jern with you in my place, my palm was very hot. It's like burning, and coming down. Yeah, even the crane speak and racing up to the heaven and coming down. Just that first movement, I can feel it straight away. So whether when you train qigong with a master next to you or someone's hiding you that know what's doing, you actually it's kind of like an electrical circuit connected up with the guy with the doing the things, and you feel it. It's much faster. That's why I said.
You synchronize with the person doing it.
Yeah, and it's so strange. It could be just the ground is all connected up, and it tells you why we do next to a big tree and it's got more tree, like we're doing big, because I can feel the connection or that. But when you go away, and I'm trying to do it myself, I don't get the same energy, and it's strange. And I had to do a lot trying to get that energy back, and but I think that that's why the qigong classes. I remember when I was really into the Tai Chi, and I was teaching a mantis class in Conopah High School. I was in the hallway there, and I had all these students came half an hour later. So half an hour before, I was doing the Tai Chi myself in the big hall. And you know, if you look at my video, that was a huge hall, right? I hired a huge hall, and I remember my student came in, and they was all staying outside the door, right? And they basically said, I could see a sphere around you, and it's like when you on a hot asphalt, you know, in a hot day in Australia, and you can feel you see the roads is all hazy. It's like that, and they could see that. They actually came up and told me about this. They said, "I can see you when you're doing your Tai Chi. It's like a sphere around you, and I can see the haze." And I thought, like that was freaking me out because I was just doing my own stuff, right? And then they were just freaked out a little bit, So
what's funny is Master Learn Chung invited a Taoist from China. He had white hair and had the headband, the Taoist headband, and he was a Qigong master, and he could see your organs, right? And he was doing Qi through a brick wall of one of Sifu Sam's students, a female, and he said that she's got ovary cancer or problems in the ovaries. No one knew but her, and she admitted she's got issues, and he said he could see it, so he healed her through the wall because this Qi was too strong, right? But he was able to see into the organ and said, "What's wrong with her?" And it freaked her out, and Sifu's like, "Told you he's good."
It's a lot of pretty amazing stuff that I can't explain scientifically, but it baffles me sometimes, because I've been in these things for a long, long time, I've been playing around with this sort of stuff and questioning it and all of that. I'm not one of those guys that follow what Sifu say and believe everything Sifu told me. I have to experiment. I have to road test it. I have to investigate it, to find out. Yeah, well, I'm just a bloody nerd, sometimes when I'm doing all that stuff, like my music, right? So
you have to be exploring that type of work. You can't just always believe Sifu. You have to go deep within, do the work, and experiment and experience it. And
absolutely.
And that leads me on to certain other things about respect to the arts and mold art and stuff like that. Like, you can't just pretend that you know it and teach it, right? You have to truly have years of training it, not just learn a course and I'm a healer now.
No, well, like there's a fine line between being critical about something and questioning about it, and not disrespectful about the Thai or your teacher, but you're questioning about it, or you have mode up. And the main thing about Chinese martial art, you must have mode up. If you haven't mode up, you basically, sometimes when I see my sitting, they do something wrong. I don't go and tell them that they do wrong from the public, but I tell them in private, But I don't go and go and make him lose his face in front of 200 people in a gathering or in a restaurant. I don't do that. And same time I expect that my seed, they don't do that to me either, right? So basically, if someone that learn from you, and they only a short time you gave them this sort of Sifu title, and then they start to go behind your back and do another dodgy stuff, and that's just not right. And then next thing you know, they start claiming that they're the real stuff. Look, when you start claiming this sort of stuff, you have to you got to have backups. You got to have proof what you've just done. There's a history record, like Gary, you done with Sifu Grandmaster Wei and long term, Sifu long term for such a long time, even to got in Hong Kong. There's a history of that, So, you done your kickboxing with John Sato. You can't just lie about it. It's all there in the history. People along those decades, they recognize it, they know you, they've seen it, they were there. They can actually say, yeah, no, Gary was there. But you've got a guy there now, that claiming all this other stuff that he hasn't done any of it.
Oh, Buck Fu Pie, dude.
Yeah, like you can't do that. You can't do that to yourself. It looks stupid, and it doesn't matter how many likes you got in people will soon find out that you are not the real stuff. So there's a history part of it. Okay, it's like me. Okay, so people that in '81 they know me in Hurstville, they saw me as a young guy learning from Peter Lee. They know that. In 2001, I had like 40, not more than that, 70 students one time, right? And they all know about me, okay? So I went to teach Catholic school for 3 years with all the students, and they all know about me in the eastern suburbs. So, even I want to say I didn't teach there, but they remember me, all right? But this guy that's claiming everything, he hasn't done any of his hard yards, and he's claiming it. And that's not that's bullshit, man.
It is, and doesn't know anything about tradition. Claiming every other style. He tried to go to you and other teachers like Juk Lam, Iron Ox, Chalgar, and the bad mold duck was not gonna. You can't lie to people and expect them to take you in. He's sweet talking and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like it's like going to Hong Kong and find a master, and then you bullshit all this stuff like that. The only two things a master will take you in is if you're a joke, he take your money, all right, and teach you crap for a weekday in Hong Kong. Or he said to me, a general master he said to me, John, you can't stay here for 1 week, 2 weeks. You have to stay here a few months at a time to learn the real Kung Fu.
Yeah.
So that's a good master, And when I give him the red packet, I was genuine to give him the red packet. Doesn't matter he doesn't teach me Kung Fu because he tell me the truth. What I need to know, that I could put that time and the effort in it, and the time, the effort. And most of us don't have that sort of luxury. If I was a rich kid, I have all the time in the world, I have all the money in the world to stay in Hong Kong for months and months. I don't. So basically, I had to deal with this in a month, learn everything I could learn, and go back next year and show him I've done my homework. And what do you reckon? What do you think, Sifu? And he must say,
you spoke with Grandmaster Du Wei. I introduced you to him.
Yeah.
That long ago. But this person's claiming to be under Du family, and I taught him.
Like the Grandmaster Du Wei is very particular about who he taught. He's not stupid, right? When he said Gary Hiffel is the Australian and European representative of this card, that's it. No if or but. Whatever comes after that has to be under you. It can't be above you, or it's bizarre. Like this guy had a claim all of this stuff like that. It's just not right. How could it be right? It's unbelievable that it doesn't happen I'm telling you, I'm not picking on Guaylo, the Westerners. But in Chinese, we don't do that sort of shit. All right, come on. I know in Zhouga there's something happening there, and I don't agree with all the shit that happens in Zhouga. But I'm not always Zhouga. I'm Zhugnam as well, and I'm Chorifan. Okay, so I'm never. I tell you, in Chinese culture, We don't do that sort of shit. We don't jump. If I want to go learn from my Siba, I go and get an approval from my Sifu, get a letter, and I go to my Siba, and then I have that way. I have opened a Sifu dinner or whatever, gathering. I invite all my Sifu, my Siso, my whatever, and I said I now want to do in-depth study with my Siba or Siba Gong.
Yeah.
And then my Sifu will write me the letter and say, I will approve you to do that. And I always regard my Sifu as my Sifu. Why wouldn't I do that? I don't want to jump ship and say, oh, no, my Sifu is shit. Now I'm going to go to my Siba Gong and Siba. And that's bullshit. Come on. That's ruining the Chinese culture. Come on.
Not only that, but I kicked that person out of the pie.
It's unbelievable. That's what goes on now on the internet now, and what I saw, it doesn't agree with me. That's why I don't want to engage in those groups anymore, because they think it's a normality now. That you can jump. If you start doing that, if you start doing that to your Sifu, then your student will do that to you.
Yeah. No,
simple, isn't it?
Yeah, and you didn't call yourself a life coach.
I don't normally swear. This is really f up, isn't it?
It is. It's a horrible feeling and disrespectful, not only to me and to Do family and Grandmaster Du Wei, because
absolutely,
and I put a lot of time and effort in promoting Grandmaster Du Wei's systems. And this guy's just trying to destroy it because of spite, because he got kicked out. It's a shame. That's just that's a Guaylo for you. Thinks they know it all. They wouldn't.
Well, there's a lot of good Gary. There's a lot of good Guaylo like you too. I can't. There's a lot of good Guaylo also that carry on the Chinese tradition when Chinese gave up. Right? So I can't really say all Guaylo is bad. It's also all other people in this world, there's good and bad, but the Chinese culture is basically that you hate you when you do martial art, and you should really follow that. And just some that you just gotta put them in the line, put them in the line, mate. You can't do that sort of shit, Come on, man, let's get real. I taught you the stuff. Just practice the thing. It's simple. Why do you want to get in the head of other people? Your kung fu is good. People will recognize your kung fu is good. The simple as that. Doesn't matter the problem is, status, right? If I jump ahead, I become jump ahead my Sifu and then my Siba Gong, and then I become the same level as you.
Yeah.
And that is just illusional, right?
All right, Johnny, we're going to have to cut it here. But thanks again, and we'll catch up soon. I appreciate your time as usual and all your knowledge. But as usual, we've always got good mold up.
Good mold up, and I hope, and it's such a good news that you moved to Foster, because Foster is a really nice part of the Australia, New South Wales. And also, I know that you are starting a new Mogun with all students, and I hope you the best of luck, and may the dough be with you.
Dojo. I am in the house. All right, brother. We'll chat soon.
Okay, brother.
All right.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.